This video is a sample from the Secret Guitar Teacher Interactive course, The 5 Main Elements of Music. The 5 main elements of music. Element number 2, scales. Section 2.2, using the minor blues scales. Part 6, centering on 4th position. In the last lesson, we focused on the 1st position and learnt some ways of connecting it easily to the positions on either side of it. Now in this lesson we're going to apply the same principle to centering on the 4th position. Here are the step-by-step instructions. For this lesson we're going to work in the key of E. So let's start by finding our 4th position minor blues scale pattern in E. So we know we've got one key note here on the 5th string at fret 7, and because this note is on the A string, we can see that we can use the A octave pattern from the cage system to find another key note E here at fret 9 on the G string. Now let's take a look at how we can easily access the 2 positions either side of the 4th position, the 3rd and the 5th positions. We can see the most accessible notes in the 4th position coloured red in this diagram. The 2 grey notes on the bottom 2 strings at fret 10 are not so easily accessed with the stronger fingers. Most of the notes in the 3rd position, coloured pinky purple, are nice and easy to link to the 4th position. But the note at fret 4 on the 3rd string is coloured grey because it's harder to reach. Similarly, we can access the higher notes in the 5th position. So we've coloured those green. But those on the lower strings are grey because they're a bit more awkward to get to from the 4th position. As in the last lesson, I'd first encourage you to explore this yourself and see what you come up with by way of licks that help link these positions together. I'll leave the diagram up here on the screen for a minute so that you can pause the video while you have a go at that. To help catalyse this process, here are 3 sample licks that I found work well for me as connecting licks from the 4th position. The first one connects back to the top end of the 3rd position. It starts here on the key note at fret 9 on the G string, going straight up there in a sort of diagonal line, and then connects down into the 3rd position simply by following that chromatic run 7, 6, 5. Then in the 3rd position we pick all these notes without using any technique really, just pick them straight. In that respect this is a little bit more like a jazz lick than a blues lick. And then we end up with a slide back into the 4th position and resolving back to that same key note that we started on at fret 9. Here's the tab to help you learn this. This is also available on the printout that accompanies this lesson. The next lick connects from the centre of the 4th position down to the lower end of the third position. So here we start with a slide on the third finger from 7 to 9 on the D string, up to the 7 on the G string with the first finger, and then back to the 9 on the D string. Then it's a hammer on from 7 to 9 on the G string, and back to 7. Then we slide back down on the D string and blend that movement into a pull-off to fret 5. So it's 9 to 7 slide, and then pull off to the first finger at fret 5. Then we hit the 7 on the 5th string, fret 7 on the 5th string, and back up on the D string 5 to 7. Then we sort of momentarily pause there, it's sort of half completing the lick. And then after that pause we continue by coming back on from the 7 on the 5th string, up through 5 and 7 on the D string, and then a sort of teasing lick that slides back towards the 4th position but changes its mind and comes back into the 3rd position. And then we play back to fret 5, and then little hammer on from 7 to 5, I beg your pardon, a pull off from 7 to 5, and terminating down on the keynote at fret 7 on the 5th string there. So in slow motion. Here's the tab for that one, and again you'll also find that included on the printout. Finally, here's a lick that connects the 4th position up to the 5th position. Starts with a slide from 7 to 9 on the G string, which we'd probably normally do with our 3rd finger if we were thinking of staying in this position, but on this occasion we select the 2nd finger because then we can link more easily up towards that 5th position. So after that slide on the 2nd finger from 7 to 9 on the G string, I'm playing fret 8 and 10 with the 1st and 3rd fingers on the B string. Then we've got a little slide from 10 to 12 and up into the 3rd position as we hit 10 on the top string there and back to 12. Followed by a hammer on the top string from 10 to 12. So we've got and then a hammer on pull off combination, 10, 12, 10 on the top string, down to fret 12 on the B string, and then a nice little semitone hammer on pull off from 10 to 11 and back, and then in the same movement a slide down to 8, and then back to keynote at fret 9 on the G string with lots of vibrato. Here's the tab for that one, and again you'll also find that included on the printout. So I hope you'll find those ideas useful, and do use them, remember, as points of departure or catalysts to spark off your own ideas. Notice that techniques, especially slides, often come in handy to make those connections from one position to another. It's an added bonus that they also happen to add character and fluency to your licks as well. Finally, I just wanted to mention a very important general point. It won't have escaped your notice that usually I'm very pernickety about using exact fingering when drilling these blues scales. But as soon as we start actually playing with them, I just use whichever fingers work best for any given situation, and this is something I advise my students to do as well. Now, all these licks we've just been using as transitional licks from one position to another tend to sort of favour the first and third finger in particular, first and third fingers in particular, and I refer to these as the strong fingers. Now, this is a particular characteristic of blues and rock lead guitar. One tends to use all four fingers a lot more when you're playing more melodic styles or jazz styles of guitar. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd really like to maximise your potential as a guitar player, click on the link in the description below to the Secret Guitar Teacher site. Here you can sign up for a 30-day trial free of charge and without obligation. We won't even ask you for your credit card number.